Hey everybody, welcome to the Anthony and Todd Show. We are a weekly podcast that critiques and memes music. I'm your host, Trevor, aka formerly known as Trev the Homo Sapien. And I'm joined by my ever-attentive co-host, my best friend, my pal, my amigo, my droog, Vincent.
AKA MC LaCroix. Tastes like butt cheeks. LaCroix. Like, that's just disgusting.
I hate LaCroix.
It's like if water wanted to be, like, polluted.
I don't like
polluted with unnatural flavors.
The worst part is that it doesn't taste like anything. You can't tell one. If I give you a blind taste test, could you tell any LaCroix flavor from the next?
Oh no, I could tell LaCroix from water because water is like, okay. This is water.
One's water and the other one is static water.
The other one's Static Shock. This is episode 94 of the Anthony and Todd Show, an episode we would like to call.
I don't know. I don't get this one.
You wrote it.
Oh yeah, I did write this one. I can't eat right now. I'm Mach-Hommy.
Think about it for a second, that'll make sense.
It didn't make any sense when it was written. I didn't get it.
But today we're talking about the latest Blood Orange mixtape, Angel's Pulse, Big Krit's Krit is here, Mach-Hommy's, I'm sorry, Wap Kon Jock, I think that's how it's pronounced. Judge, yeah. Lou the Human's Promise of Paradise EP, and Kool Keith's latest album, Keith. Before we start today's intro demo is called XR20 Beat Number 4, and I use my little drum machine right here that you can't see because it's not in frame or in audio. You can't see it with your eyes. So just a real quick social plug. This is the Anthony and Todd Show again, weekly music podcast, creates music. You can find us on all podcast places. I don't know why I stumbled there. Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Facebook, Google Podcasts, and Spotify. And you can find us out all social media at Anthony and Todd, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all the important ones. And also at patreon.com/the Anthony and Todd Show. If you want us to review an album you're choosing, there's a Patreon tier for it. There's also a bonus secret Patreon tier. If you donate $2 billion, Trevor will sing a Playboy Carti song of your choosing. Hopefully it's Kid Cudi.
Yes.
Just give him a little teaser.
Okay, so it goes,
They're trying to be great. They're trying to be great. They want to be Cardi. The bitches are Barbie.
actually,
the bitches are Burger King.
That stuff's pretty decent, actually.
I practice a lot, actually.
For your senior recital?
Yes. You didn't actually answer my comment, my text the other day about you can call me Al.
Oh, I was hoping we could talk about that right now.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
I forgot. I guess I didn't text you. Okay, what was your theory, Trevor?
So I was listening to I was inspired by Kool Keith. We'll talk about this later. And I decided to listen to Paul Simon's Graceland instead of Kool Keith. And got to You Can Call Me Al. And I was listening to it and I was like, this song has a lot of the same energy as Talking Heads' Once in a Lifetime. I think they're cut of the same cloth. Thoughts?
Yeah, just because they both have African like styles or African influences to it. Because Talking Heads has the African polyrhythm. Paul Simon just has world music.
Paul Simon is black. God damn it. I also thought that a lot of the lyricism is the same. They ask a lot of questions. Doesn't really make a lot of sense.
You're not wrong. That's the sad part.
These are two phenomenal songs.
Okay, now that we're done talking about Paul Simon, let's talk about Dev Hynes and Blood Orange. We're going over the latest Blood Orange album,
Angel's Pulse.
Is this Angel dead? We have no idea.
Judging by the cover, I don't think so. Dev Hynes is an English singer, songwriter, and record producer, better known as his stage name, Blood Orange. And last year, Blood Orange released his album Negro Swan back in 2018. It was a huge, vulnerable, emotion-filled urban odyssey with great tracks like Charcoal Baby, Chewing Gum with A$AP Rocky and Project Pat, Saint and Jewelry. And this is his first project since then, Angel's Pulse. And it's got a quote here. I'll read it for you. He says, and I quote, I have a habit through the years of making records that I just give to friends or on tape to people on the street or no one. Usually this material, where does he give it to?
Hey, buddy, you like a blood orange?
He's walking down the street and he's like, here you go. Just drops it.
Into the river.
Usually this material is made directly after the album I've just put out, somewhat of an epilogue to the thing I've made before. This time I've decided to release it. I put as much work and care into it as I do with the albums. So here you go, mates.
Is he Australian?
I don't know.
I don't think so, because he's English.
But he said mates.
So he's
I'm
Australian.
getting some mixed messages here. That's the end of the quote.
So this new mixtape is 14 songs and 32 minutes, and as the quote says, this is an epilogue, and it's not supposed to really be the main thing. It's more supposed to just be a loose epilogue that kind of follows the themes, and I think it covers a lot of the insecurity that was covered on Negro Swan, and I think it really powers through that idea of just insecurity, and also that like tender emotional thing also comes through I think a little bit more because of the lo-fi production on this. There's a lot more lo-fi strings. There's some really beautiful and glistening keys and guitars on this, but in all I think it's a little bit too repetitive and a little bit too short. It doesn't progress I guess enough setting, which is nice. Not to say there isn't setting progressions, because I think moments like 7 Hours Part 1 is a nice sample-based moment, and I think the last 3 tracks as well, Take It Back, Happiness, and Today, all flow really well together, besides being the fact that they're separate tracks. But moments like the first 3 tracks I really enjoy, but they're the same track. It just feels like it should all be one track, because it's so seamless. But yeah, I just think it needed a little bit more spaces to go and evolved, and I think the lyricism on this may be a little bit too simple. But as I said in our last Blood Orange review, Dev Hynes is not a man of words. He's a man of emotion, and I still think the emotion powers through on this, but I think for the most part, going through, I think it's not supposed to be bigger than his last release, because the epilogues are never bigger than the main plot of the story.
Then it would be a sequel.
Yeah.
Yes. There's a lot of really great work that I really enjoyed on this project. Like you mentioned, I Want to See You, Something to Do, Dark and Handsome featuring Toro y Moi, and then even Benzo coming right after that. I enjoy all 4 of those tracks, but like you said, it should definitely be like just kind of one big seamless moment. And I think that might be like what he was going for here, but the cuts made, I think, are really weird.
Yeah.
I think that he chose a lot of really great featured artists to be on here. That's
great.
what really caught my eye.
It's great, and it matches that balance of both being kind of loose and being present, which is nice. So, like, you got the full-on features, like Gangsta Boo is a full-on feature. Benny Revival is essentially just the whole entire track.
Yes.
Joba's a full feature. Arca's a full feature, but then you got, like, Tinashe. She's like a loose feature that comes through in some of these tracks as more like background vocals, and same thing with what's his name? But did I not put it on here? Porches is not really present as some other of these people, and doesn't have a bigger enough presence. But I think that's a nice balance of these features. Also, they're completely random. Like Tori Ma, Gangster Boo, Joba, Arca. These are just all over the place, and I really like it. The fact that also Joba gets an individual feature makes me really happy. Because it means it opens the floodgates for more of these.
They called the Brockhampton headquarters and are like, hey, can we have Joba and Kevin answer the phone? He's like, yeah, we'll all be over right away. He says, no, we just want Joba.
No, Kevin is like, are you gay?
No. Goodbye.
But yeah, I actually really hope we get more of these like individual Brockhampton features in the future because of that. And also Joba's verse is really, really solid. Arca's frail and like off-kilter vocals really work in the setting more than I think it kind of works in some of his own settings.
Yes.
But it's nice to hear him at a different point. Tori Ma sounds pretty different. It's nice to hear him over some different percussions, even though I feel so like some of the drums in that track are kind of similar to things he would be normally, because it's a lot of just lo-fi drums, 808s. But yeah, for the most part, I think this flows really well, but it just needs more moments to go into. moments like 7 Hours Part 1 with Benny Revival, even though it's just this, I can't tell if it's a sample or full-on new verse or verses from Benny Revival. I like that the fact that we're getting this like not grimy, but grim bass, these hard drums that kind of make up this like the staticky distorted vocals, which are nice, and we're getting this like great presence. I think it's unremarkable. Baby Florence is a nice emotional switch up as well. We're getting into this new like omnia form, which is nice. This like huge void, this huge space reminds me a lot of the kind of the place and setting of the last record. It feels like he was alone. I think you described it as alone on a stage playing piano by himself under like one spotlight, and I feel like it matches that setting with this one, which is nice. But other than that, I just feel like it's more than a loose mixtape, but it's not more to be better than his previous work because it's just the epilogue. But it does match the setting, match some of the ideas, so it makes sense to be an epilogue. It's just not more than the original. So, yeah, that's about it. Keep in mind that all scores are futile and meaningless. Right now, I'm feeling a 7. I really enjoyed this. 7+, keep in mind. But, yeah, I enjoyed this.
Yeah, I think I'm feeling pretty much the same score. I really did enjoy this project. I think labels are kind of weird, especially when it comes to, like, how you label your projects, mixtapes, EPs, whatever. And really, that's why I say checking out the latest project versus any other thing, because the way that we talk about how we label like different musical projects is, I think, too restraining sometimes. Yeah. By knowing this is an epilogue, I don't want to discount it for being something lesser than an album, you know, or mixtape or whatever you want to call it. Like having it be the epilogue to an actual album from last year makes it seem like lesser in the public eyes. But like, I really enjoyed this. Pretty much like just as much as the album. Yeah. But just by having it be a little looser and less thematic, I don't know. It's like kind of takes away from it, the experience a little bit.
Also, it's the lyrical content is not up to snuff. The settings are not stuff. It's not as grandiose as it, because it's not, the production value wasn't set to be that high because it was never set to be released. So, right. Yeah. Well, that's it. We moved on from the big Blood Orange, and now we are moving on to the big K.R.I.T. Time to talk about Big K.R.I.T's latest studio album. Krit is here. He is here in the studio. How you doing, Krit?
Krit, talk to us,
Come over here.
Big K.R.I.T is a Mississippi MC, and he's actually one of the most important names in mainstream consciousness rap.
Did I put consciousness rap on the notes? God damn it.
Well, I was gonna say mainstream consciousness,
but more
in conscious rap. Especially like after counterparts like Kendrick and J. Cole.
He's the third in conscious.
Okay, I didn't know there was
Kendrick, J. Cole,
K.R.I.T.
Yeah, okay. It's the Holy Trinity.
Oh, okay. Then why is J. Cole not releasing anything that's decent?
Because he's more well known.
Well, yeah, he's definitely well known. Big K.R.I.T is pretty much fresh off of one of the most interesting projects of 2017. Forever is a mighty amount of time. What is it?
It's
Forever is a mighty long time, but I kept calling it Forever is an alrighty amount of time. It's a double album divided into 2 different styles. Basically, Big K.R.I.T, the stage name, rapper, and Justin Scott, the human behind it, sides. They're both pretty braggadocious and conscious at one time. But we had some really great tracks on here, like Big Bank with T.I., Come Up to Get Down with CeeLo Green and Sleepy Brown, Keep the Devil Off, and Bury Me in Gold. And K.R.I.T is here as his latest project since then, and it's also a sequel to his 2010 mixtape, K.R.I.T Was Here.
He was here.
He was here, and he's come back.
He's come back. Welcome back, K.R.I.T. So yeah, going over this, I was semi-interested. I heard the single K.R.I.T here, and I was actually really excited because it reminded me more of the second half of Forever is an alrighty amount of time, because it was more introspective, but it also had that, like, it wasn't just trap. I love that sped up soul sample, even though it's kind of an overdone thing, and it's been an overdone thing since College Dropout. Kanye's College Dropout. Yes. I think I still love that style a lot, and it's nice to hear it over just bland trap production. And it was nice because it cemented his spot. It felt a very positive attitude. It was nice just to see him take a victory lap And then going into this, hearing the rest of his victory lap, which isn't bad. I like the concept behind it because he's here now and like he has to deal with issues of fame and issues of the come up now.
Yeah.
But he doesn't make any unique points. And in an era of hip hop where we're getting a lot of music about fame, it really doesn't feel all that unique. Not to say we don't get any unique ideas, but we're not getting any unique ideas about fame. We're getting moments like Bloom Fame Ballet, where he's talking about the stripper who's had a fell from grace that was at one point in time a really talented ballerina, but now is just a stripper. And it's like Krit saying, "Oh, she's worth more. She is worth more, and she has talent more than just being a stripper."
Yeah.
It's some interesting ideas and moments, and there's some interesting features like Lil Wayne, but they don't fit. Like J. Cole and Krit, you think they would fit, but Krit's pretty kind of bland.
On paper, that makes so much sense.
And then
But like in actuality, it's
J. Cole
boring.
outshines Krit. J. Cole
Yeah.
delivers that actual interesting verse about fame and how he wishes it's time for his fans to kind of speak up and actually support him during when the come up begins to start. And then Krit's just generic and he has terrible autotune on the track. Sometimes his vocals on here are just terrible. Going off of Forever's a Mighty Long Time, we had terrific vocal performances. Keep the Devil Off. He's talented as fuck on his vocals. This he just doesn't shine through, and I feel like I know he has talent there. I just don't think we're seeing it. Same thing with Blue Fame Ballet. The hook on it, I just think is annoying. It kind of ruins the track, and the ideas of the track are not spread out to the whole entire length of the track, just more halfway through. Going back to the Lil Wayne feature, I think Lil Wayne and Krit don't have any chemistry. I think this track doesn't make any sense for it to exist.
a little awkward.
It's just awkward because someone who is very thought inspiring, and that's one I really liked about the second half of Forever is a Mighty Long Time.
Lil Wayne is pretty thought inspiring.
He's a thought inspired. But it made me think about the concept of wealth, and it made me want to be a better person, whereas a lot of the moments on here just don't make me think. They just feel like just a looped hook over and over again, like I made it. I'm sorry, it's just I made, where he just says I motherfucking made it over and over again. It just feels like the hook's on repeat, and I can say the same for like the last 4 tracks on here. I don't think they say anything. They don't resonate with me. The performances on it are generic, and I think at some moments on here he just sounds like Schoolboy Q.
After Forever came out, I was really jazzed to see like what Big Krit would do. But coming into this project, I feel like there's not a whole lot to say. Like you said, Krit here I thought was a really interesting single, and I still really enjoy it as a track and as a single. But here it's just like I feel like it's the only like shining moment, and they're like, all right, nosedive. Right after. Krit is constantly talking about how he made it or how he's waiting. He's got an entire track, I've been waiting. He's got lines in pretty much every one of his songs where he's just like, waiting on the come up, and here I am every single time. I'm like, okay, like, I've been waiting for you to do something as well. Like, do something with it. I don't know. I'm like tired of him saying that he made it. Why would you make an entire album about like, my last album was really good, so I made it, and that's the whole album.
Yeah.
Like, and then your last album wasn't good anymore. Like, going from that point forward, the last project wasn't good. I don't know. I listened to this kind of coinciding with I re-listened to Vince Staples' Prima Donna.
Yeah.
Pretty recently, and that 20-some minute tape puts more thought into the concept of fame than this entire project does.
This entire 50-minute project.
Yeah. Vince has so much more to say on that in such a smaller and shorter amount of time than Krit has here. And I feel like Krit doesn't say anything of like any interest.
Yeah, and Krit before has had a distinctive voice. Now he's just nothing on a lot of these tracks to me.
And talking about distinctive voices, on the track Obvious with Rico Love, the only thing obvious is that Rico Love was second place on the Drake Drake imitation.
Drake imitation contest.
Yeah.
Is that where you have to like have a son and then neglect them?
Yes.
Try to hide them from Pusha T.
This Rico Love guy, it was pretty obvious that Krit was like, I want Drake on this track, but Drake's busy, so I'm going to call this guy I know that sounds like him. And here we get Rico Love. And this is literally just a Drake track. And I was like, so, I don't know, consumed with that, like, just how obvious that was. I like couldn't even focus on the track.
Yeah.
I kept trying to listen to like what he was saying, and I was like, Rico Love is Drake, Rico Love is Drake.
Yeah, I think I don't really have anything else to say, do you?
I don't think so.
Keep in mind that I'll scores a futile meaningless. Right now, at this current moment, I'm feeling a 5 on this.
I'm going to give it a 5 minus.
5 minus. Well, you know what they say.
What?
You know what a minus looks like. It looks like the symbol between Mac and Hommy.
I think that's a dash.
It's a dash, 5 dash. And now we're moving on to we're gonna be talking about the latest Mach-Hommy project. Was it? I have the pronunciation. Wapkonjoga.
How'd you know it was pronounced like that?
I put in Google Translate and I heard how it sounded, and then I wrote it down.
Why is the last J a G sound?
It just, I don't know, that's what it sounded like.
All right, we'll just go with it.
Yeah, I'm probably wrong on that, but let's just hope for the best. It's Haitian. It's Haitian. So
Oh, I guess that makes sense.
so yeah.
Yeah, okay. So Mikami is a Haitian MC from Newark, New Jersey. He's kind of like an elusive face, kind of in the hip hop community. He's kind of been rising in notoriety over the past couple of years, but came on our radar after his features on Chris's latest project, Guns, on Wild Minx, and your old Droog's latest albums. He was on RST with Doom, as well as Funeral March, The Dirge, from It Wasn't Even Close. I've known about Mach-Hommy, I feel like, for longer than that, but I can't say I've ever like listened to anything that he's put out.
Me
Kind of
either.
like Jay Electronica,
Yeah.
where I like know that he has potential, but like there is
Mach-Hommy's actually released projects before.
That's
Jay
what I'm saying,
Electronica
like,
has never released.
That's what I'm saying. Like Jay Electronica is like people always talk about him and include him in the conversation. Like, dude, Jay Electronica is so good. Can't wait for his first album to come out. Where's it at though? Like, how do you know? But I constantly hear about Mach-Hommy being really good, but he's just out of the spotlight so much. He's so elusive.
Yeah, he's your old Droog's favorite rapper, apparently.
I guess so. I think also Danny Brown might have played this record when he got some like radio time maybe a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, okay.
That sounds really familiar. This latest EP has Mach-Hommy receiving some features and seals of approval from Droog himself, Quelle, as well as Earl Sweatshirt. And there's also some...
The holy trinity of underground hip hop.
Yep, just those three.
Just those three, the holy trinity. Same thing with the holy trinity of like the Conscious rap with Kendrick, Cole, and Krit.
There seems to be a
They
trend
overlap.
here. They're the same people. This project also has a lot of production from Earl, the God Fahim, and The Alchemist, who seems to be cropping up quite a bit this year.
Yeah. Busy
and
man.
Wapkonjoga in Haitian means more or less, you will meet the consequences of your actions.
Which is nice.
It's kind of cool.
Going over this thing, I think it's probably best to go over track for track because there's only like 7 tracks on here.
Sure.
I like them all. Going over Chimney Brunch, the opener with Quelle Chris. Quelle Chris on top of this game. He's just throwing out syllables nonstop. It's not like rapid, but there's the pronunciation of them is just eclectic and weird. Just like Quelle is very shapeless. I like the line about Ric Flair. You're in the rings with Ric Flair. You're in the wait, I forget how he says. He's just throwing out like weird homonyms. It's really interesting. But I really love the saxophone that kind of carries through that like transition between Mach-Hommy and Quelle is really nice. They just feel like they're on the same sync. They just kind of, it's a perfect track to kind of show that like shapeless nature of both of these artists. I like how Mach-Hommy comes up a little bit distorted on the mix. It's really nice. Going into Mozambique Drill featuring the God Fahim, where you just get this repeated loop from Mach about play stupid games, win stupid prizes, play stupid games, win stupid prizes. This very undertone vocal that I really enjoy because he does it a couple of moments on here on this EP. And I like it because it works. Like it's undertone, but it isn't under passionate.
Yeah.
It's that kind of nice moment in the middle where you get like this very like kind of nonchalant thing, but it still has passion enough to it to where it doesn't feel completely pointless. And I also like how later on in the second like little burst of the hook, we get this vocals layering over top of it, so you get 2 layers of vocals, one on top of another, which is really interesting. Going into Wapcon Joga, I just feel like this is one of the moments where Mach gets to truly shine on the track, moving into the very beautiful instrumental Time Face, then Eedeot.
Eedeot boy.
Eedeot. Oh, I'm stupid.
I know, it took me a while to figure that out.
Eedeot boy.
Reminds me of Ren from Ren and Stimpy.
Yeah.
Eedeot boy.
Featuring the God for Him and Euro Droog. This is the best track on here.
Oh, yeah.
Starting with this fantastic trumpet sample that the God Fahim's over. He has a great verse. Then it goes into this like bass sample with Euro Droog. It feels like we're going down this tunnel, and Euro Droog is most standoffish as he's ever been. He feels confident. He feels like really sturdy. Like if you try to push him over, he won't fall down. I that's the way I would describe it. It just
breakout.
He seems like very dominant, very not forceful, but just very defensive. Like he's just sturdy.
Yeah.
Then it goes and then the drums kick in, and then we get Mach-Hommy's verse, which is correct. Like we get this tunnel-like nature. I think it just suits perfectly. Also, this track begins going from Time Swap to here, has this great transition between with a Ghostface Killah sample. I think we get an ODB like vocal sample later on, which is really nice. Going into Mittrom, which is this like little 1-minute segment with Earl's sweatshirt, where Earl is doing his new traditional thing of just being really quiet.
Oh, can you speak up, please?
He's just kind of like muted in the mix. We saw this on the Z Loopers project recently, where he had a feature on that, and
as well as in some rap songs.
Yeah,
well.
I don't knock it because I feel like on his verse he actually shows a lot of passion, and he actually seems genuinely happy, which makes me feel good because I know he's been in a dark place for a while, and now it feels like he's slowly coming out of it. I like how he's doing a lot of these projects with like underrated artists, which is nice. But I like that 1 minute like little, feels like a very like angelic haze that they're in the production of the track, which is really nice. Just very hazy, hard to see through, which I really enjoy. And then finally going over Simbi, I just like this ongoing sample, or the beginning sample of how long it takes to get famous, 4 years, which is this like
6 to get rich.
6 to get rich. This idea how fame's so simple. And then Mach-Hommy kind of gets his final moment to shine, and he has a great line. Therefore, eat a dick, sprinkle some AIDS on it. You ain't sick until you're truly sick, and they put names on it. And also, I forgot to mention on the previous track, Mittrom, we don't ever see you in the joint, you lyricist. Because he's not a freestyle rapper, he's just a lyricist. I like that idea a lot. I think it's really funny. But yeah, I think Mach-Hommy has great production. The project flows really well. I think he has a demanding presence on the mic. He's standing up with some of the best on here. Earl, Euro Droog, Quelle. These are people who are dominating this abstract hip hop, underground hip hop scene, and art rap. This kind of like trifecta of those like little areas. And he's standing up with the best of them. Yeah. And he's getting good features. There's good performances across the board. I think he stands out in his own projects, and it's just a short little EP that showcases the best of him, and I'm really impressed with this.
I as well. I really like that it's short because it's easily digestible. I can listen to it. Very similar to like Kids See Ghosts or Yay or Daytona. They're shorter albums that I feel like you can just breeze through really quickly, and they pack a lot of punch for just the little bit that you'll get from them. I can't say I dislike any of these tracks. I really enjoyed all of them. Eedeot Boy, I think, is definitely, like you said, the best track on here, with just some really great features, and Mach-Hommy being able to like hold his own against them. This really proves like why Mach-Hommy is so revered, I think, in the hip hop community.
Because before, it wasn't until Quelle that I really kind of knew of him, and I heard so many people revere of him, and I just kind of haven't understood it because I wasn't impressed by his performances on either of those projects we mentioned before.
Yeah,
but I just didn't know.
Yes,
and this kind of shows me why he's important.
Oh, for sure.
There's some really good curation, really good performances on here.
I really like a lot of the sampling and a lot of the production on here. It reminds me a lot of like 20th century minimalistic music.
Yeah,
just some like fixed piano kind of thing, or reminds me a lot of like somebody like Charles Ives or John Cage or Philip Glass. Like definitely like cut from different cloths, but like these composers put together like some really just weird, droning, minimalistic music. Especially, I think it's on Mittrom, where it's like just a little sprinkling of piano, in and out of the track, but it's like not prominent. It might as well just be silent with like a couple of like little piano things on there. They're basically just rapping over silence.
They're rapping over noise for me because it still overpowers Earl Sweatshirt.
Well, sure. I mean, Earl Sweatshirt's still whispering, but like I think that the lyricism present on here like just completely overtakes that, and the minimalistic piano like really plays into just how I don't know, like thought provoking this is, and how I don't know. I feel like artsy is like a bad term.
Yeah.
But also like that pretty much like sums up how I feel about this. I think that this was just a really impressive work. I actually really like the album artwork as well. It reminds me of
the Revolutionary War.
Revolutionary War. It reminds me of Danny Brown's Old.
Yeah.
It also reminds me of like watercolor paintings. It's just a really, really neat looking artwork. But yeah, like I actually really like this project more than I ever thought I would. This ended up being a great surprise this week.
Yeah. Keep in mind, I'll scores a few Talaminos. Right now, I'm feeling an A+ on this. I really enjoyed this.
I am as well, I think.
Central Project?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I enjoyed it a lot.
Good deal.
Okay. So, Mach-Hommy's he's a human, right?
Yes.
Do you know who else is a human?
Lewis.
Lewis the Human. That's why right now we're going over Lou the Human's latest project, Promise of Paradise, EP.
Ep. Lou the Human is a Staten Island MC known for his in-your-face demeanor and flow. He's also bringing in kind of a new era of horrorcore. I think pretty much starting with this project. He's got a really edgy lyricism that's still like fun and character-filled. I'd compare it a lot to like Slim Shady back in the day. And really horrorcore hasn't been popular since Bastard, Tyler the Creator's record. Which I feel like wasn't even popular since like ICP was popular back in like
not even ICP, since like because ICP they're popular, but they're popular in their niche. And I really like.
Well,
that.
I mean, they gained some like more mainstream ground back in like the 90s, as well as Eminem. I would even say Eminem again,
because like the Eminem
whole Slim Shady thing, huge like horror. I would say horrorcore, and then like Dip, Bastard, Dip, Lou the Human again, and we're getting back up there, which is fun. We reviewed Humaniac back in 2017. I think that was one of the first projects we reviewed on the show. Actually,
it was one of the. It probably wasn't. It may have been like a 20th episode. No, it was probably 11th.
It was pretty close to the beginning. I do remember that.
Someone was asking about us the other day, and I had to give them the episode number.
Yeah, it was pretty good collection of tracks that showed Lou's strengths and weaknesses.
Looking back on it, I like it more than I did initially.
Yeah, I think I do too. I kind of got. I don't know. I feel like we got carried away a little bit, but also
it's just I would
say that he also had a lot of the flaws that we talked about,
because like not having to critique the schizophrenia angle on the project that was very generic, and seeing now that things like his use of autotune has improved, because on that project he just had a really kind of shitty and just weird use of autotune. Seeing that has improved with some of the singles he's released now, it makes it feel like he's evolved, so I'm able to appreciate this more.
Yeah, but kind of like we said, that whole like schizophrenia angle being way too edgy, I feel like just put a kind of a damper on the project. But there were still some really great tracks on here, like Macklemore, Brink, Who Knows, and Lou's Dead. Showed up like a lot of really great talent and potential. And that's the whole reason that we've been talking about his singles in the past couple of months, as well as returning to this project, or coming to this project now. Speaking of those singles, he dropped a couple of singles that showed a pretty decent outlook for Lou's career. Make You Sick, Painkiller Paradise, and then Nirvana and the Whip, which just came out a couple weeks ago. And we talked about all those on our playlist segment. Those were all really good tracks.
I love these tracks a lot, and I think this is kind of what horrorcore is supposed to be. It's supposed to be a bit campy, a bit stupid, a bit fun. And it's fun. That's what makes it special. He's harsh, he's hectic, but he's fun. He's keeping it light, but keeping it harsh.
Yeah. Keep it light.
Keep it light. Keep it light.
His next project is called Painkiller Paradise. It's coming out hopefully sometime this year.
Yeah.
And it's kind of Promise of Paradise is kind of like a short EP to fill in the gaps before it's released. It's mostly filled with a lot of freestyles and B-sides from his upcoming album. And I can't believe you struck a deal with SoundCloud because it's a SoundCloud exclusive right now.
I think it's SoundCloud exclusive because you can't get that Ariana Grande sample and that Missy Elliott sample.
That's very true.
But yeah, going over this, goddamn, a lot of these Lou the Human freestyles, he's fucking talented. Like,
oh yeah,
we knew this before, but goddamn, like, is he great on the mic? His flow is remarkable. Like, he may be like one of the best freestyle artists. It kind of makes me sad that like Double XL dipped on him last year and he didn't get put on the list because his freestyle would have been like,
that would have been incredible. He would have blown everybody out of the water. Maybe that's why they didn't let him in.
It's because XXXTentacion would have the mic go off and then Lou the Human afterwards would just murder him with his words. And then he would...
I will kill all you peasants.
Yeah. But literally going over this lighter fluid, it's lighter fluid to me is just highlighted by this one like part of the verse. I'm going to read it off. And it's all about the Matrix, weirdly enough. He just like, not the whole entire track about the Matrix, but it kind of translutes into this like one part of the verse. And it's really nice when we read it. It ain't easy being the one like Kayana reads when you don't know how you're in the Matrix and you're trying to leave. You don't hear from Trinity, but you're trying to see where you stand, but you're dodging bullets every time you speak. Tell them to pull the trigger. I'm from where they pop red or blue pills, but can't tell the difference. It really works well. My reading doesn't sell it off as well, but I think it's his lyricism and it's just his flow and his way to impact that line and make something kind of corny as the Matrix feel really important in this context. I really enjoy it. Going on to moments like Hove Slang, Pass the Dutch Freestyle, which is a Missy Elliott sample, or it's a Missy Elliott beat.
Yeah.
God damn, that banging beat. Just hearing some different, like, kind of undark production from Lou the Human is really nice because he's still as harsh as Hectic. He's still Hectic's off. He's rapping in a frenzy, essentially.
Yeah.
Just all over the place. Going on to Break Up With Your Girlfriend, I'm Bored freestyle, Ariana Grande song production. And
I think he released this on Twitter. Got a lot of ground there as well.
He released it on YouTube too. But going over it, I like it better than the original because this is one of my least favorite tracks on Thank You Next. But yeah, I feel like he's able to just be himself. This seems like really natural. There's nothing that seems fake. Like before, we were able to sense like the Eminem influence, sense like character.
Yeah.
This is just Lou. Like this is just like natural to him. His flow, his impactation, his in-your-face nature, his able to just be kind of loose is remarkable on this. While I can't say there's anything super notable to the point where I would come back to moments besides Lighter Fluid, Break Up With Your Girlfriend, or Hove Slang, I still really enjoy them. I just think they're just freestyles. Or some of them are just loose B-sides.
Pretty much all freestyles, honestly.
Or just loose B-sides from his upcoming albums. But like, I still think he shows that impactation of character and it seems natural to him. It's just this is just a thing from a upcoming project. Or it's a thing to fill time before that. And I think it fills time very, very well. And he does move into new territory and it shows off that I'm really excited for this new album's coming out.
Yeah. I also think that the title, Promise of Paradise, is really poignant in this sense. After listening to it, I was like, obviously, like, it's a play on like Painkiller Paradise, which is coming up. He's like, oh, I promise it'll be out soon. But, like, also, it's a promise of like Lou's getting better.
Yeah.
Lou's definitely like improved in the past couple of years. His singles have shown it. You can look back at his older work and see like what he has done so far and now like where he is. I've just really enjoyed watching this growth, and I really enjoy that he's looked back on his project and he was like, maybe this didn't work. Maybe I should drop some of this. And now I think he's coming into his own. He's not just Eminem ripoff anymore. He's not like Slim Shady's son anymore. He's his
not
own
the
rapper.
Third member of the Insane Cloud Posse.
Yes.
He's not Whoop Whoop.
He is his own member.
He's Wop Wop. He's his own Insane Clown Posse now. But yeah, I enjoyed this. This is how you do marketing. This is how you fill the gaps between projects. You release something like this because it's meaningful.
Yeah.
We talked about Blood Orange earlier. I think that was very impactful, but it wasn't a sense of like marketing. I just thought it was really smart setup. This is also a really smart setup, but it's also for marketing, and I think it's really nice. Also, it's a thing for his hardcore fans because it's not promoted as much as like his studio
wasn't
albums.
promoted like at all. If it was promoted, it would be on a streaming service,
Yeah.
but it's literally just on SoundCloud.
So it's more for just his hardcore fans, which
Yeah.
is really, really nice. Yeah, keep in mind that I'll score some futile meetings right now. I'm feeling a 7 on this. I really
I am
enjoyed
as
it.
well. This was a really good project, actually.
And we're going to leave it at that. And now, Little Human's cool. But you know who's really not cool after this project?
Keith.
Oh, my phone. Go to bed. We're going to be moving on to Kool Keith's latest studio album, Keith. That's a good bit. I like that bit. Oh, wrong bit. I messed it up. Kool Keith.
Keith.
Is he cool? Is he hot?
Hot. Kool Keith is an underground legend. That's the biggest thing I could say about him. Kool Keith doesn't really have a lot of footing in the rap game anymore, but I cannot deny that he has made some really great strides in kind of normalizing underground hip-hop. Release of Dr. Octagonacologist in 1996 really paved the way for a lot of records like Mad Villainy and Food. Like, literally, MF Doom's career, I feel like, was made possible by Kool Keith.
Or
and
at
viewers
least-
like you.
And at least more accessible. At least.
Oh, for sure. Dr. Octagon, Kool Keith's kind of weird alien persona, really just made he really carved a niche into the hip hop community. I recently bought that album a couple years ago after reading about it in a book about like rock in the 90s or rock in the 2000s and like just how important that record was. And I went and listened to it and I was like, this is kind of weird, but I really liked it. And I feel like I can understand like why that gave underground rap the footing that it needed. Unfortunately, Kool Keith didn't remain as like, he might be like the grandfather of underground rap, but he's definitely like the crazy old grandfather of underground rap. Like, hasn't kept his footing whatsoever. He released like a lot of just weird stuff, and then finally in 2018 came back to the Dr. Octagon character with Moose Bumps, an exploration into modern day repellation, which is a very forgettable album. I forgot that he even released it, honestly.
Yeah, I think you're
Because
more
Dr.
defensive of it
Octagon,
than me,
yeah.
and the fact that you forgot about it.
Yeah, Dr. Octagon's character, I feel like, I don't know, like, I feel kind of torn on Kool Keith because I think that he is really important, and Dr. Octagon is really important, but it's also difficult to say why, because he's kind of like Nas, in which, like...
Nas had Illmatic, and then he had Stillmatic, and now he's not Matic.
We're getting a lot of hate recently on our Nas comments, but I don't care because I'm just calling it how I see it. Nas had a lot of footing back in the 90s, like 90s hip hop. Nas is one of the guys. He's one of the big boys. And now you look at him, he's like, hasn't released anything decent except for PAX, and it wasn't even close. Pretty recently.
Pretty sure that's a guy named My Old Droog. But yeah, so this new entire album is produced by Psycho Les, and it's released under Mellow Music Group, which is one of our favorite labels. Had artists like Open Mic and has artists like Quelly Chris. Going over this is bad. This is a bad album. I hate to be this forward on it, but like I couldn't withstand this record. It hurt. This is one of those albums where it hurt. I compare it to Jaden Smith. Jaden Smith hurt. This hurt. And what's so bad about it is that he uses the same fucking flow for every track. The production from Psycho Les is very basic. Not anything completely terrible, but it's just super basic. And it gets better, I think, around Turn the Leaves, Word Life, and Zero Fucks.
With Be Real.
Be
The
Real.
Best rappers, Be Real. Jokes, it's us guys. Come on, Be Real.
Be Real of Cypress Hill fame. And yeah, it gets a little bit better, but it's still pretty basic. It's super repetitive. I feel like anytime Kool Keith has a hook on this, it's super repetitive. But his verse, his way of like transitioning from idea to idea is just so, just like ADHD inspired. And I have ADHD, and it made me run circles around it. Like I couldn't focus or shit on what he was saying.
Yeah.
It was just like it's not like how like someone like it's not like verbose, like someone how like Mark Kozloff has like a ton of things to say. but transitions them really well from thought to thought. This is just like just all over the place. Like the transitions don't make any sense to the point where I can't really keep up and I have a hard time remembering like 95% of this album just because it's just so hectic and it isn't stable. There's no stability or I guess any grist on. I can't go get like a grip on anything he's saying.
Yes.
Moments like Graceland has by Paul Simon.
That's where I was inspired.
Moments like Graceland, like Paul Simon, have a really repetitive hook. Same thing with 95 South.
They all have repetitive hook. Literally, the formula.
But that's like the most.
The formula for making a Kool Keith song. I'm gonna take "Make 'Em Crazy" for example. Okay, Kool Keith. He goes, "Make 'em crazy, make 'em crazy, make 'em crazy." He'll do that like 8 times. All right, and then he just goes into his own rapping, and the beat could be like that, and Kool Keith's just like off. He just takes off. He's not sticking to the beat. It's not even like Blueface where he's like doesn't know what's going on. It's literally just like, how many words can I fit into this?
Yeah,
like, and
it's past Quelle where it's like actually an essential thing to be off the beat. It's not Blueface where it's just like a neglect to be on the beat.
It's literally just no, it is more of a like neglect to be on the beat. I think Blueface is just like,
he's not intending to do it.
Forgive me, Father. Blueface is kind of dumb, I think. Like, I feel like
he has a blue face. There's
like
a lack of oxygen in his blood.
I feel like he's just like not understanding. But Kool Keith could like, he's like a little kid. You could have the beat going like this. He's like, I want some cheeseburger and some fries and some pizza and some ice cream and some pretzels. And
like, it's just too much. And it's not like a new flow. He's done this for years, but on this, it just seems like he's lost his grip.
On sanity.
Like, he listened to the new Blueface record and he's like, I can do this.
I want to talk about my favorite part of the record. Okay, so the intro. Intro's not too bad. Where he's like, there's a lot of like,
I think it's the Breakfast Club.
Yeah.
Give him the introduction.
But then towards the end, he's like, Kool Keith has legalized rap music in places that you didn't even knew about rap, and he let them in on the rap community, and this is his great album, Kool Keith, the coolest, his best album ever. And then like going to the next one, and you got this beat. He's like, you ever walk into Foot Locker and the girls in their stripy shirts, they look good. They look kind of good. They look kind of sexy. They look good. They look really good. Oh, Foot Locker. And that's the whole track.
I'm dead.
He talks about how sexy the girls at Foot Locker are, and
it's the best track on this fucking album.
The narrative he crafts on this track, I think, is absolutely hilarious. It's bizarre. It comes at the most inopportune time after he talks about how great like Kool Keith is, how much Kool Keith has had an impact on rap, how he's one of the best rappers alive, and then he goes straight into Foot Locker.
But the reason why Foot Locker is the best track, because it focuses on Foot Locker. It doesn't go into like, I want cheeseburger, I want fries, I want to get a deli sandwich. It just like is just focused on Foot Locker, which is sad. I can't say anything about the Paul Wall feature. I think it's just pretty lost. But moving on to like the final important moment, Zero Fucks, which I think is probably the second best track on here. Be Real is okay. He has a hook. It's really long, like all the other hooks on here. Then it gets into a verse, which also feels really long. And then Kool Keith, like there's another hook. I'm like, oh God, is it still going? The hook's like even longer the second time, it feels like. And then we get Kool Keith verse, like the traditional verse. I'm like, oh God, he's just doing the thing he did before. And then it just, hook. It's just annoying. Be Real comes off as really annoying. More than ever. And that's it. That's his album.
I was really excited to review this because I thought it would be bad, and it lived up to my expectations. And I also think it was like just annoyingly bad. Like it wasn't more so like annoying. I think it was just like bad.
It's just bad.
And I would file this away like more under somebody like Jaden Smith, who I actually like as like a person, and I like his efforts and his style, I guess. I put that away into that because I just want so badly for these artists to be good. I want Kool Keith to be able to, like, I want to be able to defend Kool Keith and be like, yeah, Dr. Octagon's great, and look what he's making now. He's still good, but like no, Dr. Octagon was pretty good, and now like he's just not
He's
anymore.
just fetishizing
He's just-
people at the Foot
I
Locker.
mean, he's just completely he's off the edge. He fell off the edge of sanity, and I think Foot Locker is one of the funniest tracks I've heard all year because of just how weird and niche it is. Like, I don't think I've ever been to a Foot Locker, but like, I'm sure there are people out there that are like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Like, but Kool Keith's got a point.
And I think we're gonna end it there. Keeping in mind that all scores are futile and meaningless. Right now, I'm feeling a 1.
I'm gonna give it a 1 for Foot Locker. Foot Locker's a 10, but the rest of this album's a 1.
And yeah, I think we better end the show there because I can't take any more today. I think I lost my mind at Foot Locker. Now I cannot get it back because the babes at Foot Locker are too hot. This has been episode 94 of the Anthony and Todd Show, an episode we would like to call
I can't eat right now. I'm Mach-Hommy.
And if you want to keep up with the Anthony and Todd Show, you can do so by subscribing to various podcast forums, whether it's Apple Music, Spotify, or iTunes.
There's no iTunes.
Oh yeah, I forgot. iTunes doesn't exist anymore. They got rid of it.
Did I ever tell you about the Black Eyed Peas story?
I had to cut that out last week. Going off that, if you want to follow us and subscribe to us on YouTube, youtube.com/The Anthony and Todd Show. If you want to support us monetarily through Patreon, patreon.com/The Anthony and Todd Show. All social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all at Anthony and Todd. And yeah, Twitch TV/The Anthony and Todd Show if you want to watch our streams. But other than that, that's been this show. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you enjoyed us cringing to Trevor's performance of Foot Locker, also his performance of Kid Cudi. But until next time, guys, I've been Vincent.
I'm Trevor.
And see you, boys.
Bye, everybody.